Hello. So,
Hello.
hello. We are here today to talk about a short story, right, by Angela Carter. So,
Yes, quite a long short story.
yeah.
I would say it's a novella.
Yeah, I agree. It's a
But
long
you
short story.
but you chose it. It's The Bloody Chamber from The Bloody Chamber and
Mhm.
Other Stories. It's the first one. Why did you choose this one?
So, I chose this story because of course, I like tales in general, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, even the earliest versions of the tales. But
Yeah.
I like this idea that she presents that I think we're going to talk a lot about this. Yes. That is I think because this story is based, of course, in a traditional story, but this perspective that she gives to the woman that is actually sh- is
Mhm.
supposed to be the victim, but is actually also as the hero of the story. So I think
Yes.
I like this dynamic that and of course I like her references. I like everything right about Angela Carter. So that's why I've chose. And I like, of course, this book specifically. But
Yeah,
because of
me too.
this, pretty much. What do you like about this book? Because like I said, I like these reverse, let's say, it's reverse
Yeah.
stories, right? And what about you?
For me, it's a lot more of a shallow reason. I
Ah,
really like
okay.
her writing. I like her kind of
Ah, yeah.
overblown, self-indulgent, purple prose. I love it. It's
But
so
I love
baroque,
it too. I love it
amazing.
too. And it's something like, oh, how is this possible? Like for someone to write like this. I don't know if you think that too,
Yeah,
but every time I read,
yeah. Her writing reminds me of something that Lovecraft wrote in
yeah.
a text called Supernatural Horror in Literature,
Ah, yeah,
where
yeah.
he said, I'm gonna read it. I wrote it down here. Atmosphere is the all important thing. For the final
Mhm.
criterion of authenticity is not the dovetailing of a plot, but the creation of a given sensation.
Yeah,
It kept
yeah.
echoing in my head every time I was reading this. I
This
loved
is
it.
I read something similar to this when I was studying about fantastic, and also tales that are not like in this, there are more fantasy, let's say, and this
Yeah,
idea of the atmosphere, right, of horror, the atmosphere in general. Yeah, so this is
yeah,
very interesting, and I like the way she does that, and I like the metaphors. I like everything. Yes, I think we're going to talk about this now,
yeah.
right? But I like everything in her writing. So yes, it
Yeah, me
makes sense.
too. Uh, do you think this is fan fiction?
This is a good question. I think in a way, yes. Yeah,
Me
because
too. But
she's
that's postmodernism, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, it is. It is. But yes, but she's rewriting, right? Something, and at
Yeah,
the same time bringing references. So
yes.
yes, it fits
Yeah,
too.
she's it's satirical, it's funny, it's a
Yes,
parody.
postmodernism.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
But yeah.
commentary. I like her focus on horror, as in like the kind of
Yeah.
pornographic visual blood and guts and sex kind of horror. But she also writes terror, the
Ah, yeah.
atmosphere
Yeah,
pretty
it's true.
well, and the psychology as well.
Yes. This is what I like to. I like both, right? So this is something I like to. And you mentioned like the images, and I think
Yeah,
in this specific short story, there's a lot of these images that she actually talks about. So paintings, right?
yes,
So
yeah,
it's very energetic. There's not another word,
Yeah, it's
right?
very poetic. There's a lot of
Yes,
color
yes.
to
So
her writing.
this is
This
something.
this short story read to me as like a play from the Grand Guignol. I don't know how you say that, but that it's that French theater that
Ah,
did horror plays in very like blood and guts, very trashy kind of
okay,
culture
okay.
porn kind of plays.
Yes, I get in the
And
reference now.
she even mentions the Grand Guignol. She also mentions Bluebeard, which is
Yeah,
the inspiration for this story. I don't know. I liked it. She
I
didn't give a fuck when she was writing this. I loved it.
because I like, of course, like I said before, postmodernism, but I like this idea of the references that is like in her mind. So it's the process of writing, right? But at the
Yes.
same time, it is there on the text. So this is very interesting.
Yeah.
And a reference that to me is very interesting is this reference to Eve, right? Adam and Eve. Because, okay, I'm gonna go into this, but because we're talking about references, because my favorite part of the text, let's say, is when the main character, that is no, the main character is her, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
when she's the wife, that is her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a name, right? Or does she? I don't
I
remember.
I don't think so. No, I don't think she has a name. But I think that
Yes.
that's on purpose.
Yes,
She's
yes.
always somebody else's possession. If she's not her husband's possession,
Yes.
she's her mother's possession.
It makes sense. Yes, I was thinking about that she doesn't have a name. That's why I wrote like a topic here, the main character, and I was like, but she's the main character, but she doesn't have a name, right? But
Yes.
I like when she's talking to Jen Ives, that is the piano turner, right? And
Yeah.
she's talking about the bloody chamber, and she's talking about what she saw there and everything. And then she's also talking, of course, about the fact that her husband has given her a key. Yes, to
Yeah.
this chamber. And then Janai says, oh, you disobeyed him, and that is sufficient reason for him to punish you, right? And then she answers, I only did what he knew I would. And he completes, of course, like Eve. So I
Yeah.
like this comparison because, of course, it sums up the whole idea, yes, of the short story in a way. But I think it's very smart because if you think about this reference, like God forbid Adam and Eve, right, of eating the fruit of one
Yes.
specific tree, but they know that he shows the specific tree, she, right, the specific tree that they're not supposed to eat the fruit of. So I think that's what where he creates intention. And if you think about that God, like if you think about people are created in the image of God, right?
Hmm.
And then he knows that they will fail. That
Yeah, he's omnipresent.
yeah, so this is could be like on purpose in a way, like he knows that they will fail
Yeah.
because they are like him, right? We are like
Hmm.
him. Like this is the idea. We are the image of God. So this is
Yeah.
very, I don't know, intelligent to mention this, to compare this, because I mean it's obvious, but at the same time it's not. Yes, it's intelligence to bring this. And of course we have this idea of forbidden fruit, being the knowledge of good and evil. And I think this, if you think about a woman, yes, about Eve, so when she tries the fruit, is when she gets to know the other side of stuff, like the bad stuff. But that
Yeah.
is actually inside her too, right? And then
Yeah.
she can't return from that. The same way as the main character, she can return from the knowledge of the bloody chamber.
Yeah.
So this talks about a lot about how people perceive woman too. That is this person that supposedly yes, so people blame women in general for their curiosity in this moment. So what do you think? I talked a lot here, but what do you think about all these references, yes, that she made?
Well, even the word evil is similar to Eve, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, this. It's
Yeah.
actually very.
Well, I really loved this short story because it's basically it's about a serial killer, isn't it?
Ah, yeah.
And they mention Dracula and
Ah,
Carmilla,
saw this too. Yes, they mentioned. Yes.
and
Oh,
vampires are basically serial killers.
yeah. But
But
then,
I thought it was interesting because when she finds the bloody chamber, the wife that was previous to her
mhm.
was from Romania.
Yes, and her name was Carmilla too, right?
Yep, her name was
So,
Carmilla, and she found a letter
mhm.
from Carmilla to him where she calls him Dracula.
Yeah.
What's implied in this, I think, is that because she's shown as she's smiling, right? Her corpse has a smile on her face.
Yeah.
It kind of means that she was into it. She wanted him to kill her.
Yes, this is actually because, like, if you think about it, she says, "Oh, I'm virgin," and all these stories, like all this stuff about she being like a virgin, right? I mean, the main
Hmm.
character. But then,
Yeah,
if you think about it, she doesn't talk anything about the other wives, of course. So I think they are not. Maybe they were not that innocent, right? Maybe they were into
yeah.
it in a way because when
I think
she's yeah
I, for
you
me,
can
from what I understand, it was her in particular, just her. The
yes
other
just
ones
her yeah
were kind of torture victims, really. They weren't in on it or
yeah
anything like that.
I understand like just her like just Carmilla, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
but it makes sense because, for example, when the main character that doesn't have a name, when she sleeps with him, is the moment when she says, "Oh, something has changed." So now I feel like I like this at the same time that is repulsive. I like this idea of
yeah,
the grotesque, right? That is repulsive, but we like. Yes.
yeah. There's even a single sentence paragraph that's after they have sex, where she's in her bed and she says something like, I wanted him, I yearned for him, and he disgusted me. Something like that. Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
I remember
That
that.
was,
Yes. So this is, I think this is also this idea, yes, that it's not about good and evil. It's about things that are ugly, but at the same time, us human, we like, but of course, we
yeah.
don't like.
Well, there's always some. I found it. It's on page
Ah,
22.
okay.
I lay in bed alone, and I longed for him, and he
Mm-hmm.
disgusted me. I think well, if there's pleasure and there's pain as well.
Yeah.
Pleasure is a kind of pain. There's also something about this in the short story that I'm gonna find. But yeah, there's also something very attractive about horror, isn't there?
Yes.
About abject.
Yes. Yes. We humans are attracted. Yes.
Yeah, okay, so on
So
page 27, there is a striking resemblance between the act of love and the ministrations of a torturer.
yes. So this, I think this, like these things she says, right? They maybe talk to this idea of Carmilla in a way. Yes. Like I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think she was into some kinky shit.
Yeah.
She was
Yes.
like
But
a
of
masochist
course,
and he was a sadist, and they were perfect for each other. Something like that.
yes, something like that. I think she was not into dying, maybe, but she liked,
Or maybe she was. Her
or maybe she.
corpse
I
was
don't know.
fine.
She
Yeah.
could be. Yeah.
Did you? What did you think about her being marked for life on
Oh
her?
yes, this is very. It's also a reference, right? In a way.
It's a reference to Dracula, I think, when he bites Mina, and then they have this kind of psychic ability to get into each other's minds.
Ah, yeah, yeah. It
And
makes
then an
sense.
author, yeah, and then an author, he wrote a novel called The Dracula Tapes, which is what happened in Dracula, but from his first person perspective, where Dracula and Mina were actually having a love affair and they were trying to cover it up so Jonathan doesn't
Ah,
find
yeah.
out. So that's interesting.
I think it's also this idea that it's the same idea that when you see something you can unsee, let's say, right? So when she connects with him in a way, this will never disappear anymore, right?
Yeah. Well, the
So
way that I interpreted it is that people are going to look at her as tainted by this
ah,
experiment.
yes, it's like similar to like a scarlet letter or something
Yes, yes. As
like that.
like
Yes.
she's always going to be a victim,
Yeah.
something like that. But then I think it's interesting or poetic that she marries the piano tuner who's
Yeah.
blind.
And she says, "Oh, it's good because he'll never see the mark, right?"
Yeah, she says that her mark is her shame.
Yeah. So yes, pretty much this kind of letter, but it's good because she says that he'll never actually see, right? Because but like this is
Yeah, she
poetic too.
says. Yeah, she says that she's glad that he's not going to see it because it spares my shame. Because she's
Yes.
mentioning that she can't cover it up with makeup or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Or anything like that. But he in a way is beyond that, right? Because he's blind, so it's not like
Yes.
he's beyond that. But when she is almost dying, when she's going to die, but then it doesn't happen, right? She
Hmm.
also says, "Oh, it's good that my lover is not going to see this, right? He's not going to see me
Yes.
dying on the hands of my husband, and he's not going to see all this horror." But also, I think it's the same idea. Yes, he's not going to see this shame, let's say, right?
Yes.
So,
Uh, I think it's funny that he says, I can, I, I'm not going to be of use to you, but I can be of some comfort. And then she mentions that he's her lover now, like the narrative.
ah, yeah, no,
For
it's
some
true.
reason. So they had sex.
Yeah,
That's a funny subversion because it's always the lover of the victim that's going to save her. But now it's
yeah,
her mother. Here it's her mother.
yeah. So this is interesting because she doesn't need actually a man to save her. So it's a subversion, right? And her mother,
Yes,
I think, is very interesting because
yeah,
it is like a figure, let's say, that she talks about is a mysterious character, but she like mentions stuff. It's almost like her mother is like a myth, right?
yeah,
So her mother does stuff in the past, and she's very
yeah,
strong and powerful, and then she
yeah.
appears there.
Yeah, she's a very different type of woman to her daughter, who is
Yeah,
more kind of understated. And
yeah.
she becomes a teacher, right? In Paris, she forms a little school for piano and things like that.
Yes, and I think in a way we can see in the end when her mother saves her. So she becomes more like a version of her mother, right? So somebody that is independent and that can create her own path, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
this is very interesting.
I,
Yes.
th- I think this is cool because I don't know if you know, but they are remaking Snow White.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And the actress that's playing Snow White is saying some, oh, this isn't the 1930s anymore. She's not going to be saved by a prince. She's going to
Ah,
be a leader or whatever. As though implying that for a woman to be strong, she needs to be, I don't know, a leader, military figure or
yeah.
whatever. She can just, be chilling with her husband or whatever.
No, yeah, yeah. No, I understand. Yes. Your point. Yes, but I didn't know she said that.
Yeah.
But yes, but in the end, she is chilling, yes, with her husband here as the main character.
Yeah,
So
she seems to be happy. She's
Yes.
happy with
And she
you.
has her school. She's not a leader, because I agree, like not everyone is going to be a leader or we want to be a leader, right? And
That's
there
right. That's
and
right.
like men could be whatever. So why
Yeah,
do
well, it's the thing is that you have the liberty to choose what you want to be, what you want to
yeah.
do. That's the thing about Angela Carter's version of feminism, I guess.
Yes. And I also like this moment when her mother appears in a horse, because this is very like hero, right? This is very,
Yes.
oh, he appears on a horse and then saves the girl. So this is very, I don't know, different, as it shows really in this moment
Yeah.
that she's the hero, right?
Yes. Well, I really love the horrific parts when she's describing
Ah,
the bloody chamber. I really like it because fairy tales are so gruesome,
yeah, yes, I like it
but
too. When
people try to kind of erase it, right?
yeah,
They try
this
to
is
erase it because it's
so
from
sad.
oral tradition. The prose that we read in like the Green books,
Yeah.
the Brothers Green books, the prose is not very colorful, so that's the horror
Mhm.
is not very present in the writing.
Yes,
So
but
I
here
I
again,
like that she put a lot of color into her writing and
yes.
focused on these aspects.
And I like you said, because it's imagetic too. She explains what she's seen. We imagine as this, like every
Yes,
detail, and
yeah, she's kind of lulling you into this kind of hypnotic
yeah,
trance to
and
getting the story and being in the world of the story. I really liked the way that she described the castle as an amphibious, mysterious place, like a sad sea siren of a place, something like that.
yeah, yes. And she says that, like she turned on the lights, right? And then
Yeah.
the castle is like floating. I don't remember the metaphor, but it's like floating between something. I don't know, between.
Yes, yes. I like that the waves kind of take over the grounds, and then it's like
Yeah,
the castle is like an island. It's very
yeah, yeah.
isolated. Did you notice that Bluebeard, the husband, he says that she couldn't call people outside the castle for help. But before that,
Hmm.
she called her mother.
Yes, I noticed that. And then she said, "Oh, I can't," because then she tried again to call someone, but she couldn't. But
The
before
line
I
was dead.
noticed that.
Yes.
Do you have a
That's
theory? Why?
I think it's just a moment of gaslighting
Ah, yes, it makes a lot of sense.
because he gave me major Harvey Weinstein vibes, you
Yeah.
know?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like it's not even true, because she could call. Yes, but
Yeah,
I thought, oh, maybe the lines are not working or something. But yes, it makes
no, he
sense.
definitely cut the lines. That's what I thought was implied. He like cut the
No, yes,
context.
it is implied, but like I thought, but you are saying that like he tried, like he pretends that it was never working, right?
Yeah, I think he
Ah, yeah.
also pretended to like leave because he knew she was going to go down there and snoop around and stuff like
Ah,
that.
yes. No,
He
yes,
definitely
this
set
was
her up.
definitely his intention.
Yeah.
He knew she was going to go there, so he was kind of waiting. All this story about, oh, I have a business and then I don't have it anymore. For sure, this is not.
Yeah, it's total bullshit.
Yes, it's all bullshit. But I understand what you're saying. Like, of course, he's implying that the lines never worked, but they did. Yes, before he cut.
Hmm.
Okay, yes. No, I agree. He gaslight a lot,
Yeah.
and
I loved how the necklace kind of foreshadowed the way that he intended to kill her, which was a beheading.
yeah, and I loved also how uh I don't know, it also represents, right, the thing that attract her to him. So like she said, oh, he gave me gifts, and before that she says something like that. Before that, I never thought about any of this, right? But
Yeah.
then he kind of attracts her, and then in the
Mm.
end he says, oh, give me the ring, and something like that.
Yeah, the text also makes sure to point out that she's extremely young. She's like a child.
Yeah, she's like a child. Yes, this is kind of. Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
what about the necklace? The neck it's like a necklace, right? Something like that. That
Yeah, it's a
she.
ruby necklace. It's described as like a shiny wound, right? Because it's made of
Yes,
rubies. Yeah.
I think this is very interesting because this necklace, she says that it belonged to a woman that um avoid that somehow, right? Avoid death, like they.
Yeah. It kind of shows the way that he sees death as well, right? Because he really liked that necklace.
Yeah, and then he makes her use the necklace to kill her, right? So
Yes. And it's like he's already imagining her dead, and
yeah, before.
right with the wound and the rubies, but it's a beautiful thing. So that's how he sees her death, being like it's like something
Yes.
that he's attracted to. That he's
Yes.
yeah, he's a complete sadist.
Yeah, and he's also, I think, this idea of he has an ego too, of course, because he's like, I'm going to punish you, and
Yeah,
she and the other wives, right, were probably wearing this necklace, and okay, before it belonged to people that had escaped that, but like this time they will not. So I
yeah,
will do what they failed to do before somehow,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He definitely gets a kick out of it, out of thinking that. But it's interesting because it's described that he kind of feels guilty deep
Yeah,
down, but but I think that his joy kind of drowns his guilt.
yeah, like you said, he's a
Almost like he
sadist, right?
needs this. Yeah.
Yes, like it's something in his character, right? In his like
Yes.
personality, something deep, yes, inside of him. But yes.
Yeah, kind of like a Cenobite from Hellraiser,
Yeah,
if you've seen that movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
You asked
so
if I sing right.
yeah, I imagine him like a pinhead type of character, this blue beard.
Ah, yeah. No. Yeah. I actually don't know. It's good that you brought that up because I don't think I of course we know these Bluebeards like we have several images, right, of how he looks like. But I don't know if I imagine something specific. Now thinking of me reading, I don't know. I try to put something together, but for me it was something like he was kind of a mystery too. I don't know if you felt that
Yes,
the
no,
way
he's
she
described.
described.
Yeah, he's kind of described as something that's not quite human.
Yeah.
He has this kind of chthonic gravity to him, as
Mhm.
though he were like a deity, like a demon, like a devil.
Yeah, and like even the flowers that he puts in places, and she refers to the flowers and to him as like in a way he's kind of disguise his presence or his instincts. I don't know if I'm like
Yeah,
again tripping you, but with the
no, no, no. It,
flowers,
it,
right?
it makes sense because flowers they have a fragrance. Maybe he's trying
Yes.
to mask the fragrance of his other wife's blood, but
Yeah, yeah. So
whatever.
this is yeah, so that makes sense. So this is what I imagine because in the end she says, "Oh, now you said, oh, in this moment that she actually sees him like, oh, he's in the bed, like, oh, I need to kill you, right? And then she says he was there's a rotten smell in that moment specifically, right?
Yes. There's a moment where she describes the flowers as I don't know, like corpses or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yes, there is. So yes, everything connects. This is what I like. It's very, very intelligent of her. Because of course, things have to connect, right? But here is every detail, like it's very
Yeah,
complete.
yeah, she focuses a lot on the images. So she describes the flowers one way at the beginning of the story, and then another way, the same object in a different way.
Yeah, and then
It's
we
very
make
romantic. It's very
connections.
romantic, right?
It's true, it's
Like
true. From
what the person is feeling inside is the way that they see the outside.
yes. Yes, it's very romantic. And one moment that is very romantic in this perspective is in the end when she's going to die, and then she says, "Oh, this day," I don't remember exactly, okay, the words, but like, "Oh, this day that I'm going to die is actually like a sad day." Yes, it's not.
Ah, yeah, it's a gloomy day.
It's a
I
gloomy
remember
day.
that.
Yes, that's the word. So this reflects, of course, it's a moment, it's an example of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
very expressionist, right? You
yes.
see the world filtered through your own feelings.
Yeah, this is I always liked it. I like
Yeah.
this a lot. I think people actually do that in real life, but I like writing that explores this, right? So
Yes.
this is very okay. Do you have something? We have 3 minutes. Do you have something you want to add? You want to
Uh,
talk about?
yes, I thought this was quite sexy. A very
Ah,
sexy
yeah.
writing.
I thought
And
it too. Yes.
it's kind of I don't know, the prose was kind of dripping with symbolism and decadence.
Yes.
Just so
And
delicious.
in the end, when he likes cut or something like that with the sword, her dress, I was like, oh, but now she's like naked, right? And
Only
then
wearing the
her mom
uniform.
arrives, and then she's naked running through her mom. I don't know what to
Yeah.
imagine all these things. And
Yes, it's very scandalous.
yes, it is. And at the same time, like I said, we imagine the situation and it's scandalous and in some way attracts us, right?
Which
It's
is very interesting that she did it like this because when she's having sex with the piano tuner, she doesn't describe it at all. She just mentions that he's her lover now.
yes,
But she does
yes,
kind
it's
of
true.
describe uh, the husband and her having
Yeah,
sex
the
as like
even her
a
mother, some other
yeah,
people, yes, but
yeah,
not him. Yes, it's true. I haven't thought about that. She
yeah.
she doesn't
But
describe him.
the way that she describes the husband having sex with his bride is like 12 husbands impaled 12 wives or something like that. It has a kind of murderer connotation to it, like
Ah,
impaled
yeah.
like a knife, he's stabbing her.
Yes. And he says, "Oh, when she asks, 'Oh, how am I going to die?' Like she knows she's going to die." And he says immediately how she's going to die. So it's a plan, right?
Yeah, he's going to cut her head. Something that doesn't have a head is completely passive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you don't have thoughts. You're passive. It's just a body. That's what he wants her to do.
Yes. We have just 1 minute, but we can continue this conversation, I think, right? Because there's a lot also
Sure.
to be said.
Well, I don't really have anything more to say. Just 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. What?
Ah, yes, yes, me too. 10 out of 10 is what I okay. So that's it. Bye.
Well, let's see. Goodbye.